is this really, really nice looking and playing and sounding 1967 Gibson J-45. You know it's a 67 right away because it has a serial number that starts with a big fat 0. I don't know if you can see it there, but any Gibson serial number that's 6 digits that starts with a 0 that's stamped into the back like this with these kind of specs means it's a 66 or 67. Sorry. It's just something Gibson did that year. They just decided, hey, let's make 67 zeros. So this guitar has been fully serviced, as vintage guitars tend to need to be. But it looks really nice, and the work was done very, very well. What servicing was done? It looks like the bridge was re-glued. It looks pretty solid here on the back. Just a little bit of lifting right there on the very edge. Kind of normal what happens. I'm calling that just cosmetic since it's not really moving. And sometimes, you know, after you do bridge re-glue, you have to reshape the bridge to the contour of the body. And sometimes it just, that little edge there doesn't like to conform. So anyway, the bridge is solid, sounds real good. It's not lifting, so that's good to go. There are a couple crack repairs. They blend in very nicely to the top because of the way the grain is. Looks like there's one. Actually, I don't think that's a crack. That is just a seam of wood. There's one right here on the top. And then there's one, I think, up here in this area. Been cleated. Pretty minor there. And then, of course, there's one on the back here. I think that's all I see. And I do think the center seam separated and then was re-glued there. It was a good job. In order to repair that, the spine bracing in there just needs to be taken out. So there's a cleat here for this one and that one. All the work was professionally done. This guitar still has the stock wooden bridge with these adjustable bridge Gibsons in the 1960s. They sometimes came with ceramic saddles, which tend to sound better, and then these wood ones. These can sound kind of thuddy. I usually upgrade them by installing a bone saddle, a drop-in bone saddle right here. But this one sounded so good. Nice sustain, depth, resonance. I'm just gonna leave it because that's original. If you want a drop-in bone replacement, you can get one for about 20 to 30 bucks. You might need to sand a little bit, put it in there. Improves the tone, in my opinion, although this one sounds very, very, very good. The top is not perfectly flat. I mean, it's not terrible here, but you know, over time, what happens on these guitars is all this tension from these strings pulls it up, so it just causes the top to kind of tilt this way a little bit. You can kind of see there where that's happening here. Again, it's not terrible, but it's definitely there. Again, everything's been serviced on it, so action, playability, all that stuff is very, very good. So comes in a older case. I think it's a Yamaha case. It has marigold lining, so it looks like an old vintage Gibson case at first glance, which is kind of cool. Best place for you to buy this guitar for you is on my website. That's linked below on the YouTube channel, which you can check out below. If you're on YouTube, if you click the description tab right below the video, there's a little thing that says description or more details or whatever. Click that. It'll have my number where you can text me for more info or details or questions, and then a link to my shop website. One bonus if you buy it on the shop website is there is no sales tax charge there if you're outside of Washington State. You need to be aware of the specific laws that apply to you in your state, but it's not something I have to charge you at sales tax and collect for your state. 1967 Gibson J-45, very nice guitar, been serviced. I think it's priced right.